It is insane how much of a wet rag she is. He goes, oh no, it'll be fine. My wife doesn't mind. Get her the red ones. Prose is not really like grabbing me. Hi, I'm Pandora's Books, and join me as I read the first book of 2026. I left myself a little break at the beginning of the year because last year I read every single day.
What do you want, a fucking medal?
And I just wanted a breather. So I'm now getting round to reading my first book of the year, and that is Scripted by Fearne Cotton. This isn't a really well-known book. I found it in a charity shop and the premise intrigued me, so I thought I'd pick it up. It feels like a really wholesome, feel-good book, so I thought this would be the perfect start to the new year.
But not for long.
Let's just get into the nitty-gritty. This book follows Jade, who one day comes across a script that includes her and her boyfriend and family, and this script tells the future, and she keeps finding these scripts depicting future scenes that are going to happen in her life, and it basically is supposed to push her or leads to her changing what happens in the script. That's basically the whole premise, so I'm just going to jump straight into reading it and see how we get on. So I've read a bit of the beginning now. I'm about 20% of the way through, 25%. We've met Jade, our main character. It starts off, she goes for a run and she finds something on the ground, and it's a script, and it's between her and her boyfriend, and her boyfriend in the script says that he is going to America to find a new venture for his own company, and she's not really happy about it, but she doesn't really say anything and she just lets him go. She's a little bit frazzled by this, and then the scene plays out in real life that evening. So far, Jade is very spineless. She lets people walk over her. Please step on me! She doesn't know how to say no, and that's evident not just with her boyfriend, but with her mum, at work. And yeah, that is Jade's personality. She just lets people walk over her.
I got him, you guys! I got him! Don't worry, I won't let go! I'm wearing him down!
It's an interesting premise, and I wonder how long it will take for her to figure out how to change things, because she tries to change it, but she can't find the words, and she's like struggling to push through and actually say the words that she's wanting to say to change the script. Prose is not really like grabbing me, so I'm finding it a little bit difficult to get into it. Let's continue reading and see how far I can get. And yeah, let's see what happens next. So I'm now around the 50% mark, and I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling with this book, which is really upsetting because it is my first book of the year.
Kim, there's people that are dying.
I thought it was going to be easy to go through. It would be fast paced. It would be heartwarming. God, the main character is so annoying. Like, she has no spine whatsoever. Like, it is insane how much of a wet rag she is. She just lets everyone walk over her, and it's this thing of there's just no other way to fix things if she can't confront the person straight on. There's no thought of, oh, if I can't bring up the courage to fix it in person, why don't I text that person? Why don't I have backup? Why don't I practice with my friend? Like, it's so frustrating how annoying the main character is. And I'm not saying that your main character shouldn't be flawed, because they should be, but it is comical how flawed Jade is as a main character. And it's also frustrating because at the 50% mark, you would expect there to be a change, and there is no change. We are mostly focusing on Jade's sister. Her sister Lily is someone who is constantly changing what she's doing. She has no proper career in life because she keeps jumping to different avenues. Yet her parents see her as the golden child, praise her for everything that she does, even though she's essentially not doing anything with her life. and then she expects Jade to just say yes to everything for her. So at the moment, we are following Jade as she's looking after her sister's daughters. She essentially pushed Jade to look after her nieces.
Oh Jesus, for us nieces.
While Lily goes on her hen do. She said she was going to pick them up on Sunday, and then she doesn't. And Jade has to figure out how to get the kids to school. There's like a lot of gaslighting. Lily's not answering her calls. It's so, like, I'm so angry reading this book, and I swear to God, if she doesn't confront Lily when she comes back and says, you can't do this again, I'm gonna be so annoyed. Like, this would be the perfect time for Jade's character to build, for her to finally say no, because it's like to the extreme now. Like, this would be the time for character development. I'm so frustrated at this character. The prose, again, like, it's not improved. It's very telling, not showing. It's just small things, but it's like, instead of showing me that she's angry, you just say, oh, she feels the anger rising in her, or she feels the anxiety rising in her. Instead of being like, oh, she fidgets with the paper in her hand, she looks down, she doesn't want to make eye contact. Like, there's so many other ways to show me the emotion that they're feeling, rather than telling me that that emotion consumes them. But nothing beats how frustrated I am at the character herself. I'm gonna try just binge the rest of this book so that I can finish it, because I just want it to be over, really. Hopefully she says no, finally. I shall come back to you, hopefully with good news. So I'm 75% of the way through the book. She has said no, not in the way that I thought she was going to.
Oh no! Anyway.
And in a very, very dramatic way, which I guess, you know, makes sense for a book. I want this book to be over so bad. I might have to audiobook it and get through the last bit. She didn't say no when I thought she was going to say no in the last clip. I thought she was going to say no after the whole sister taking super duper advantage of her. But no, she still lets her just get away with it. Instead, at a family dinner, at the wedding rehearsal dinner, she ends up just telling everyone what she truly thinks of them in the middle of a restaurant, and then feels bad about it afterwards. There's not really much more for me to say. So yeah, I'm gonna audiobook the last bit, and then I'll let you know my final thoughts and what I review it. So I've finally finished Scripted by Fearne Cotton. The last third of this, or quarter, whatever,
Quick maths.
was like something completely different.
And now for something completely different.
It was solely on the wedding, because throughout the whole book, it is leading up to Lily's wedding, their sister's wedding. We just spend a lot of time at this wedding, and then suddenly like a new love interest is introduced when there was no really love interest. I mean, there was this one character that I thought was going to be a love interest, but he ended up being just like this mentor type character. And then suddenly, like, in the last 50 pages, there's this potential love interest. So that was really weird. I'm glad this book is over. I think I'm gonna give it like 2 stars, which is really annoying for my first book of the year. The premise of this book sounded so interesting, of this character finding scripts that are telling her future, but she spends so much of this book just letting it happen. She tries to like change it, but really, like, how much does she really try? Not that much. She just accepts it and lets people walk over her. The amount of times that I've said, you know, taking advantage, walk over, spineless in this video, like that is all there is to this character. There's nothing else. And what's frustrating is that when she finally stands up for herself at the end of this book, she then feels bad and she apologizes. I think the real issue with this book is that it's slow paced because the character development takes so long to happen, and when it does happen, it's not really that satisfying because you've made the main character, or the author's made this main character so frustrating. And all the characters, all the people that are opposing her and like walking all over her, they're so comically evil. They're so comically bad. They don't feel like real people, but they feel like two-dimensional villains. The sister, who's the main villain, is so over the top toxic and bad that it's kind of silly. The boyfriend is also a really toxic, over the top boyfriend that doesn't realize that he's being so, like, it's not believable. She has a boss that tells her to walk his dog during her lunch break, to pick up lingerie for his wife. And then when she says, no, I'm uncomfortable with that, he goes, oh no, it'll be fine. My wife doesn't mind. Get her the red ones. In real life, in this day and age, is there really a boss that evil that exists? That was the whole personality of that character. There was like nothing else to it. And the character even had a PA. Like the boss had a PA, yet he was still asking her to do these errands. It was just so ridiculous.
This class is ridiculous.
And then every other character who wasn't evil was just like her therapist, her life mentor, telling her what to do and just like supporting her and be like, you go girl, you can do this.
Did your girl boss too close to the sun?
Like it's so, it just wasn't enjoyable. From now onwards, there's only up unless I read a 1-star next. Unfortunately, my first book of the year was not great. That won't be an omen for the rest of the books that I read this year. Thank you for joining me and watching this far if you have. But if you like scripted, I'm really happy for you. That is all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed and I shall see you next time. Bye.